Alright, so I figured I'd make this explanation video for both Stallard's skip and the small key skip in City in the Sky because they're both really complicated tricks that you can't really tell what's going on by the video, I'd imagine, so I'm just going to give these explanations so that you can better understand them if you want to. So, both of these glitches, or both of these skips, I guess, use a glitch that's known as clawshot actor displacement and was discovered earlier this year in July, I believe, by Dragonbane. So for Stallard's skip, we first need to activate the fight and then go across on the spinner. And so on the other side of this room here, we have these two ledges that they're they're high enough compared to the sand below so that Link will actually fall off of them if he happens to walk over them. Whereas everywhere else in the room, you can't get a falling animation with Link, really, off of any ledges. So these are like the two key things here that we need, although we only need one of them. So I chose to do the one on the left because it's closer to what I need to do. So I equipped the claw shots and the bombs, which are both items that this skip requires. And basically what's going to happen is I'm going to be aiming at this Stall Trooper over here that Stallord spawns, and doing clawshot actor displacement with the Stall Trooper. So basically, normally when you clawshot a Stall Trooper, Link will get pulled to the Stall Trooper and then that'll be that. But what clawshot actor displacement does is it will actually take the actor and pull it to Link instead of Link getting pulled to the actor, which is what makes this useful. And to do that, basically, you need to clawshot the actor, and then while the clawshot is grabbing onto the actor, you need to fall off a ledge, and then that's what will activate clawshot actor displacement. For this specific instance, I needed to wait a little bit because there are these blade traps that come around the room. And so, yeah. So there's the blade trap as I let it go by. The way that I can fall off of this ledge while using the claw shot is with a glitch known as L sliding, where if I shoot the claw shot and then hold a direction and target, Link will slowly slide in that direction. So if you look at Link's feet, they're slowly going up this way so that I can fall off the ledge. And then we see the blue flash on the Stall Trooper, which means that the claw shot has made contact. And after this, we can fall off the ledge. And so now the Stall Trooper is getting pulled towards Link. Now, normally the claw shot is supposed to cancel once it gets back to Link, but this doesn't actually happen because the collision of the Stall Trooper is so big that it'll actually push Link away before the claw shot can fully retract back. So what ends up happening is just this cycle of the claw shot trying to come back and fully retract, but not being able to because Link keeps on getting pushed away by the Stall Trooper. So we can see the claw shot right here as it grabs on. It's just not canceling because it's not close enough to Link. And the direction that the Stall Trooper pushes you is actually pretty much uncontrollable. It depends on the pixel at which you claw shot the Stall Trooper. So, like, if I was one pixel farther to the left or to the right or up or down from where I claw shotted the Stall Trooper, then the direction that I get pushed could have been entirely different, just due to how, like, the collision of the Stall Trooper works. But because this is a task, I was able to go back and successfully find an angle that works and that pushes me in the correct direction to get the Stall Trooper into this corner. And so now the claw shot finally retracts fully because the Stall Trooper basically goes into Link, and so that gets the claw shot close enough to retract back in. So now we have control of Link again, except now we have this Stall Trooper in this corner, which is really useful. So from here, we pull out a bomb and then drop it. Just like that. And then I have to wait a little bit because the bomb's on a timer and I can't make it explode any quicker for the next part of the skip to work. or the last part of the skip, not the next one. The next part of the skip is getting out of bounds into this pillar on the right here, or just this wall. And so the way we can do that is by using the fact that Link can actually claw shot the Stalled Troopers and then go to them. By going as far right as possible, and like the distance from the Stalled Trooper for this matters also, for this particular claw shot attempt. So like if I was up here by this ledge, this next part of the trick actually wouldn't work. Like, so it's both, so I'm as far right as I possibly can be, and I'm also like at a certain interval where I can get this particular claw shot to get the Stalled Trooper at the rightmost position on his body. Because if I was slightly farther up, the claw shot would actually sort of go into the center, even though it makes contact on the right, just due to how the collision works. I guess something like the distance to the center of where the claw shot is, like, pulls it a little farther to the left, and then if that happens, then being able to claw shot the Stalled Trooper and go into the wall like this just wouldn't work. So yeah, from here I can do another L slide with the claw shot attached, so that I go farther right, and then I can go into the wall like this, and finally get to the Stalled Trooper. Now, when I did this originally, I was really excited, because I was like, oh yes, I can probably get to the loading zone now, but then of course, I learned that there's another wall behind this one. So, surprise, surprise. And, yeah. For this next part, we're essentially going to do the same thing with the claw shot that we just did. We're going to claw shot the Stalled Trooper's body at, like, the rightmost position to try and get out of bounds. This time, though, it requires using the bomb explosion. I wasn't able to successfully just claw shot the Stalled Trooper and get out of bounds behind this wall. So here I wait a little bit because, again, the bomb timer needs to die down before the bomb can explode. And so it looks like the claw shot's going through the wall here, but that's actually not entirely the case. For some reason, the collision behind this texture, like, doesn't quite line up with it. It's actually farther behind the texture than it looks, which is why it looks like the claw shot's going through the wall, but it's not. So yeah, we get the rightmost position on the Stalled Trooper, and then we can go into the wall temporarily before the bomb explodes. And then, so on the frame the bomb explodes, we're in the wall successfully, and then the explosion will push us to the right, and we can successfully stay out of bounds. And then, thankfully, there are no more invisible walls. If there were, then this trick probably wouldn't work, because then the Stalled Trooper would be killed, since the bomb kills the Stalled Trooper. That's one of the reasons that this trick is pretty much TAS only, because you only get one attempt at the frame-perfect bomb boost L-slide combination to getting behind this wall. Another one of the reasons is that, like I said earlier, the pixel at which you claw shot the Stalled Trooper initially for the claw shot actor displacement matters. So, you know, if you can't, you know, correctly claw shot down to the pixel, especially with the amount of time that you have, because Stallord will attack you if you take too long to, like, try and line everything up. So, yeah, that's Stallord skip, and then you just roll into the loading zone. Alright, so now this is the small key skip in City in the Sky. Normally in City in the Sky, you need to go to, I think it's the west wing of the dungeon to get a small key, and then you watch a cutscene of Argrok destroying a bridge, and then you can come to the east side and like go through and get the double claw shots and everything. But on the east side, there's a locked door, which is what normally requires the small key. But thankfully, there's another entrance to this room on the lower level. But the developers assumed that, you know, just because you can get to the lower level, that doesn't mean you can get up to the higher level of the east side. But thankfully now we can, with clawshot actor displacement. So, just like Stallord's skip, we use clawshot actor displacement, as I just said. Except this time we can do it off of this chest, And we can do it with these claw-shottable pillars that we see up here. And we need to equip... I use the boomerang for this, but I imagine other items work also. What's interesting about claw-shotting these actors is that when you do so, or when you do claw-shot actor displacement, I should say, you'll notice that right now the claw-shot is like kind of to the right of the center target right here. But when the claw-shot actor displacement actually activates, when we fall off, the actor of their, like, this pillar actor sort of changes position, and so now the base of the pillar is where the claw-shot just was. So the pillar has actually teleported up and forward a little bit, which is really key to making this trick work. And so, yeah, after that happens, I actually pull the boomerang right here, which cancels the claw-shot actor displacement so that the pillar stays where it is and doesn't get pulled to Link. Because basically what I'm doing is I'm going to be doing the same claw-shot actor displacement again to sort of move the pillar upwards and forwards and get it more over here for the skip to work. So I do this a few more times. Eventually it goes out of targeting range, so I have to manually aim at it. And every time I'm pulling the boomerang to cancel the claw-shot actor displacement. So I think it's one more time from here. Yep. Alright, so now I've got the first pillar into position. Now I'm going to do claw-shot actor displacement on the second one, and this time I have to use a bomb to actually cancel the claw-shot actor displacement, because I need to pull this pillar a certain amount, and there's not enough fall time for me to pull out the boomerang to cancel the claw-shot actor displacement, because I can only pull out the boomerang to cancel it while I'm falling, but because the chest is really short, I instead have to use damage, in this case a bomb, to cancel the claw-shot actor displacement, so that the pillar stops when I need it to. And then from here, I'm going to take a bomb and the boomerang, and I'm going to place the bomb. I'm going to I'm going to set the path of the boomerang so that it takes the bomb with it and then has it explode in a very precise position so that I can then claw shot the upper pillar, and then while I'm going to the upper pillar, the bomb will explode and send me on top of the lower one, just like this. And faceplant, yes. Alright, so I needed to do that. It is possible to just straight up claw shot the upper pillar and then press A to fall down and land on here. But the problem with that is then the top pillar begins to fall. Because the way that the programming for these pillars works is that when you claw shot onto them, like the developers wanted you to get off them really quickly and like keep on claw shotting other pillars to cross a gap. So the pillars, when you grab onto them normally, they begin to slowly sink down and fall. And eventually they just fall, like into the void, or into the sky, I guess, in this case. So there's not enough time for me to do what I'm about to do next if I was to cause the top pillar to fall. So, once again, we place down a bomb and we set the path with the boomerang to take the bomb, and then have it explode in a certain location. Except this time I'm going to be claw-shotting this upper pillar at a very precise location, and the loading for the pillars is weird because the game expects them to be in a certain place, I imagine, and then when the camera's away, the game's like, oh, well, the camera's away, we don't need to load this object right now, so that's why we can't see it right here. But right here, I'm actually claw-shotting the target of the pillar at the leftmost possible location that I possibly can. And when we do that, we can then see that when Link does get to the pillar, he's like slightly out of bounds right here. And I'm not entirely, I'm not 100% sure about this, but I believe this is what causes the next part of the skip to happen, where if you let go on the second frame after grabbing onto this target, Link will teleport upwards like this for some strange reason. I imagine it's because he's slightly out of bounds, but I have no way of like actually confirming that or not. So that's just my guess. But because he gets teleported up so far, we can use this bomb explosion to then knock him onto the top of the pillar right there. And there he goes. And then from here, there are actually vines in this room that we can claw shot onto to get to the top of the room. And yeah, so that's how the small key skip works. The reason I would consider this to be TAS only is because each of the original claw shot actor displacements on the first pillar, those are they're not quite pixel precise. Like, there is a little bit of leniency to them, but it's still a pretty precise shot to make, and you need to pull out the boomerang on a specific frame every single time you do that. So, like, you could make a setup for that maybe, but you'd have to do, frame perfect boomerang pulls. You'd have to do probably at least 4 of them, maybe 5, depending on how you can move the actor. And if you screw up any one of them, you have to reset the trick because it's not going to work anymore. So yeah, that's fun. And then the second reason is because the last claw shot target that we do on the upper pillar and then do the bomb boost from, that shot pretty much is pixel perfect. If you're farther to the right, then Link won't get teleported up as high when you let go. And also, the let go itself is frame perfect for getting high enough to successfully bomb boost yourself up on top of the pillar. So, yeah, those are the explanations for Stallord skip and the small key skip in City in the Sky. The Stallord skip saves more than 2 minutes. I don't think it's quite 2.5, but it's pretty close. Still a lot of time. And I'm not entirely sure how much time the small key skip saves. Yeah, I'm not really sure how much time it saves, but I would imagine probably somewhere like 30 seconds or so. It's not like as big as Stallord skip. Another reason why it probably wouldn't be worth it to do it like in a run is that if you screw it up once, you have to go in and out of the room again, which takes a while, and by that time the skip itself probably won't actually save any time in an RTA run. So yeah. Hope you guys enjoyed those explanations, and yeah, hopefully we can find more stuff soon that's good for this game. So goodbye.